your background is fuzzy.
Really?
Is mine fuzzy too?
No.
Oh.
All right, we're going.
Okay. Facebook Live. Facebook Live. Hi, everybody.
Hello, everybody. This is ACDC, Araceli and Colette, Dynamic Change. So my name is Araceli, and I'm a transition wealth advisor. And I love helping professional women to rearrange their finances so they can pay their debt quicker and retire faster. And I'm also a real estate investor, and that's what the show is here to combine both the finances that you need and to buy real estate. So I'm here with my partner, Colette. Colette, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. My name is Colette Rabba. I am a residential real estate broker in the GTA. Currently, this is not my chalet.
It's not?
No, it's not. I wish. Maybe that's my next purchase. Who knows? Yes. So as Araceli was saying, I also buy real estate and for my clients, but as well for investors too. So today we're going to be talking about something that I get a lot of questions about, and that is condo development and buying a new build from the developer, and a few tips and tricks that you should be aware of when you're buying.
Yeah, well, that seems to be kind of a choice for a lot of investors because of the price point. And it's a little bit cheaper, but also you got to look at some of the things that are important to look for that may not make it so attractive. So Colette?
Well, and the other thing too is like, it's not only, there's several ways of investing. And one of the things is to not close. So when you buy directly from a developer or builder, you don't necessarily have to close sometimes. So what this is called is an assignment. So I have about 5 or 6 points that we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to try and go through them quickly. But if you have any questions about it, please don't forget, leave notes, ask questions. You can always find us on Facebook. You can find us through YouTube. Whichever way, even phone number. There's my phone. Oh, my phone number right there. Yeah. So always ask us questions, please. We love it, and that way we'll share it with everybody who else is watching. So the first thing is assignment. So make sure when you go to the developer and before you sign the paperwork, these are a couple things that you should look out for. So one of the things is, are you allowed to assign the unit that you're buying? That means you can sell it before it closes.
Yeah,
so you
that's great.
have to take possession. Why is that important? It's because you don't ever have to take possession. That means you don't have to pay HST. When you buy a new build in Ontario, you have to pay HST on any new build. If you're buying a resale home, no HST. So really be aware of that and do the calculations too if you plan to close and use the unit as an Airbnb or long-term rental. Assignment. So that's the first thing. That's what it's called. The second thing, what you should do is look at the condo bylaws. Sometimes the condo bylaws aren't yet formed because the condo corporation hasn't come up with all of these bylaws yet and the rules. You want to check these because if you do plan on closing and you want it as an Airbnb or a rental, you have to see what the bylaws are, what they say, because they might not allow short-term rental or an Airbnb type situation. Yeah. The other thing too is you want to check the bylaws for animals, if there's dogs allowed or pets allowed, because that will affect you when you go to rent it if you close and you rent the property.
So even like if you decide to close and keep it for a couple of years, you also need to find out who is your target market. Who are you going to be selling this to?
Right.
So it's important what it's around. Is there the subway close by? Is there trails, shopping close by? What is it? Is it catering to your target market?
Exactly. So investors know their exit strategy before they purchase. So how are you going to do this? Is it something that you want to sell it and assign it to the end user, or do you want to sell it or assign it to another investor? So that all has to do with timing and when you want to sell. So that's the second part of this little video that we're doing, because we can't possibly talk about all of it in one video. So that's very, very important. Know your exit strategy. If you do want to assign it, figure that out. If you know who your end buyer is going to be, Absolutely. Location. You have to buy it in a place where you're going to have the most people looking at that condo development. So you always want to look at transportation, schools, if you're catering to families, things like that. The other thing that you really want to look at before you sign any agreement is the maintenance fees. And when you're buying from the developer, they might not have a set number figured out yet, but you have to figure it out because maintenance fee has a lot to do with when you go to resell or assign it, because that maintenance fee, as we talked about, when you get a mortgage, you get a mortgage to cover a certain amount of not just what your purchase price is, but also what your maintenance monthly fee is going to be. And that's one big nut you have to cover. So if you can only afford $2,000 and you know your mortgage is really bumping up against that number, your maintenance fee might be another 500, 600, 700. Who knows?
Yeah, it also depends a lot on what it's included. In some condo buildings, they have facilities, they have a pool, they have a gym, there's or maybe underground parking. You got to look at all of that because this will go up accordingly. So if they start kind of high, you can bet that it's going to continue to go up high as the years go by.
Right. Maintenance fees never go down. The other thing too, the way a builder calculates the maintenance fee is on total square footage, and that includes balconies. So you have to think as an investor, do I want to spend the money on a big balcony or on a big inside unit? We're in Canada. Okay. Everybody likes an outdoor space, but honestly, I, as an investor, would spend more money on the inside of the property, not pay the maintenance fee on a balcony.
On a balcony, yeah.
Yeah, because, you know, what are we going to use it like 6 months? And then out of the 6 months, how many?
That's right.
So, hey, you know, I love Canada, but please, I don't like the weather. So that's something that you really have to calculate too, is the maintenance fees. And along with that too is the floor. What floor are you buying on? So these big condos, when you buy it, so a lot of people don't know this, but when you're buying a condo building, the one thing that you have to really think about is the floor, because every floor you buy higher will be a higher price. So think of that when you're buying as an investment. So when you go to resell, so this is not too much to do with assignment, but if you want to buy it and close, and then you want to sell it in whatever, let's say 5 years or 10 years from now, when you go to resell it, what agents do is they look at the whole building and how many sales happened in that building for the same size unit. So if, let's say I'm buying a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, I'm going to look at, before I sell it, I'm going to look at all the other units in that building, and actually in the area too, that sold for 2-bedroom, 2-bath and the same square footage inside. The trick is, when you go to resell it, even a higher floor will sell for, let's say, $1 million. I now can ask $1 million for my lower floor, even though I bought it for cheaper. It's a secret. Don't tell anybody.
Well, so just
it's weird. It's a weird story. It's a weird thing that's what happens, but it does happen. People don't look at, oh, well, because it's on a higher floor, I have to add another $10,000. No, that's only with the builder. But it also has to do with the view. So if you are on the ground floor and you're looking out into the garbage, you know, the garbage cans outside, obviously that's not a good idea. So, you know, every building and every unit is going to be a little bit different. And you have to ask those questions with the builder. What's my view going to be like? Because the building hasn't been built yet. Where's the garbage going to be? Is it going to be in a separate place? Is it going to be outside? I've seen units like that where it's a beautiful unit. You see the garbage right there, or the train tracks, or you see, and it doesn't matter the floor. So sometimes you get a beautiful view on the main floor. You see trees, they did landscaping. That's fantastic. But the problem is you don't know because it's not built yet. So ask those questions. What's my view going to be like? And usually those builders have a real model, and you can see where the driveway is too, like where the people are going into the underground, where your view is. Do you want to see those cars drive by all the time? You know, these are the things that you really want to make sure on the model. Let them point out, which unit is it? Specifically, are you south facing? Are you north facing? Those are so important questions also the height of where it is in the building.
Very good tip, Colette. So
Yeah.
what's the next one?
The last tip I have is the schedules for closing and extensions. So this is something else that people really, really have to read the fine print in the agreement. And this is the other thing too. Don't think that you have to go it alone. Agents can go in with you most of the time with the builder, with the developer, because if you think about it, do you want to not have somebody on your side? Do you really want to just go it alone? Sometimes I can even give you a better deal, or I can advise you, this is what the deal is, and it depends on when you buy it. So when you're going in, so actually this is a two-part question answer. So it depends on when you buy it. So if you can get in from like when they first release the building, and that's something that I can help you with too. I am one of those brokers that the builders tell me before they make it public. So you don't have to wait in line. You get first dibs.
Yeah, so the price is better, and then you get a chance to pick the unit that it's best for you.
Yes, and you still have all the perks of everything else. You still get your 10-day cooling off period. You still get to pick and choose your finishes. You might even get better incentive if you come in with an agent too. They might have this kind of thing just for agents. So again, always talk to me before you buy anything, and we can discuss who I know, when it's coming up, if this is a good build. So the second part of that, when I started saying the extensions, you really want to read the fine print of how many times the builder can hold up the build. So yes, things happen like COVID, and then they have to shut everything down. So then they do have to ask the buyers for an extension. How long can that extension be? Is it for 5 months? Is it for a year? Every time there's an extension, the closing gets pushed out further. It might not be a bad thing though, because if real estate prices continue to climb, it'll be easier for you and better for you if you're going to sell it before closing.
Later, yeah.
Right.
And also the thing is, if you were thinking or you had already earmarked that money for something else, that might affect your plans.
Of course.
Take a look at that as well. Maybe you're going to be occupying it for a little while, or you have somebody else already ready to move in for a certain time.
Right.
If this gets delayed, then it might affect your plans.
Right. And guess what? You just said something too. You used a word, occupancy. So occupancy is not closing. So these are two different things that if you need to move in, let's say, you know, I'm buying it for myself and I need to move in, you want to occupy the unit, but the building can't close because of whatever reason that they
haven't finished all the units and
right. So these are the things that the builder may actually charge you rent, or you know what they consider, you know, occupancy fee, and then that way you can still move in, or you can have a tenant move in. This is the other thing, to go back to the condo bylaws, what I said about having tenants move in. They might not allow tenants to move in only after you close, not occupancy. That's a big no-no. If you move in, you have occupancy, but you cannot allow a tenant to move in. You physically, you bought it, you're allowed, tenant might not be able to. So that information on that paperwork is very, very important. And don't forget, you have that 10-day cooling off period. Please use it. Talk to your lawyer, send them all the paperwork that's necessary, and they'll be able to explain it more, or use an agent, and you know, we can walk you through that too, and negotiate on your behalf.
These are great tips. So can you give us all the tips in bullet point?
Oh my God. Okay, let me see. How many were they? Okay, so look out for the assignment on the paperwork. Check your bylaws, the condo bylaws. Don't forget, you have to pay HST if you close. Maintenance fees, what are they going to look like? So you know, if you are going to close, that's going to be a big nut to figure out how to pay that. And what's included in the maintenance fees. That was your tip. That was good. And the schedules for closing and any extensions. How many extensions do they have? And do you really even need to worry about that? Or is it something that, what happens if they pull the extensions even further out? What happens at that point? So that's very important to know. And then don't forget, the higher the floor that you purchase, the more expensive it's going to get. When you go to resell it, Maybe not so much. So you're better off, in my opinion, better off getting a lower floor that you're happy with if you're going to close on it and you want to sell it later on.
Yeah.
What
So
else?
another thing that I'd like to say is that when you are buying, you don't have agent's fees. So you need to get an
Right.
agent to be able to help you navigate through this. And especially if it's your first time around. So
Oh yeah.
remember to call Colette because her services are great. She might be able to negotiate a couple more things, maybe not the price, maybe some finishes or something extra.
Right.
So,
right.
and it does not cost you anything. So please make sure that you do have representation when you're
The
going
builder.
to. Yeah.
The builder pays.
Yeah.
So it kind of, just on a side note, it kind of does suck a little bit for the agents because we only get paid when you close, and that could be 3 or 4 years down the road.
Yeah.
But that's the nature of the business, and we're happy to do it. We want to.
Yeah, of course.
The reason for us is to make you feel confident. We never want to make you feel like you're buying this under duress, especially if you've lined up for an hour. If that's the case where you do have to line up and then you feel like you're pressured into buying something.
Yeah.
We never want you to feel that way. So always use an agent when you can. If the builder says, no, we don't cooperate with agents, then that's a red flag too. You want to figure out why is that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just make sure that you always check and double check your numbers because those can throw off. And right now with the prices in the GTA, obviously like, $100, $200 here and there, that's it. It might not cash flow. So
right.
check.
And that's a very good tip too, because when you come down to it to go to resell it, there are fees that you have to think about. There might be an assignment fee too, even if you don't close or you don't pay your HST. The assignments aren't free in some cases. So these are all the things that you can talk to an agent about and really go through all that paperwork before you have to make the
fine print always, right?
That's right. Yes, absolutely.
Those are great tips. So for all of you out there, if there's anything else that we didn't touch up on today, send us a message and we're going to have a part 2. And we're going to tell you when is the right time to sell a condo when it's in a new development. So watch the next episode next week, and we're looking forward to it. So send us your questions and we'll answer them then. So have a great week and we will see you next week.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, bye, Colette. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.